Hello everyone, and my name is Gray Jamesi, and I welcome you to another episode of the Gray Ev podcast, which comes to you every Tuesday and every Thursday on emojimotion.com. I'm busy building a new website for it at the moment, which I might announce next week or so look forward to that. But this is episode number 10, we're getting there. And in this episode, it's just me and my co-host Kannan, just talking about things, about how life basically in our 20s. And besides that, we received a letter to move out of the apartment that we living in, because we've been hosting people from Couchsurfing whatsoever, which is fine. We're not complaining and we're not worried about it. But just remember to subscribe on iTunes Grave Podcast, and remember to check it out every Tuesday and every Thursday, because it comes out all the time. This is really a fun one. We went all over the place. And leave some comments and tell us what kind of subjects you would like us to cover with ourselves or hosts, or even if it's a complex subject, we might get some experts to talk about it. So I hope you guys enjoy it and have an awesome time. I apologize for the watery background sound that you're listening to. It's not in the actual conversation with Kannan. It's my fish tank running, and I forgot to switch it off when I was recording this. So again, enjoy episode number 10 of the Grey Avenue podcast. Cool, it's on, Kannan.
We are here. First solo podcast, no guests.
Correct.
Straight out of Cape Town.
Yeah, and my name is Gray, and we have Kannan.
Indeed we do.
Who has been co-hosting on a lot of the episodes.
Mostly drunk.
Yeah.
But still here.
But we recorded one individual podcast for you, but I thought it wasn't the right time to put it out.
I think we'll re-record that one as well, because we're better now. But
so I think we can do it now. We can do it now, and which would give people a certain sense of who Kannan is,
Yeah.
I think,
we can do whatever. I'm easy. The conversation will flow.
Cool. Just give people a little bit of a background of who Kannan is before we jump in.
I am Kannan. I am 23 years young. Essex and London born and raised. And I find myself enjoying my life in Cape Town. That's pretty much it. I like rugby. I like food. It's pretty much me.
Yeah.
Simple.
Awesome, bro. We have had a few rough weekends, but we're not gonna.
We're not gonna. Yeah,
we've
had a few rough weekends, so we're gonna have a chill one, have a chat.
And now we're just chilling home early tonight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a depressing time when 22 minutes past 10 counts as an early night, early day home. That's a sad state of affairs, man.
And I'm drinking my hot chocolate, but
we're rock stars, eh? Hot chocolate, food in the oven, rock stars. I know how to live.
For sure, bro. And we were talking right before this. Actually, this episode, I don't know exactly what we're going to talk about, but we're going to go a little.
We'll be all over the shop,
all over the place. But for the people listening, they're definitely going to enjoy it. We were talking recently about.
We were talking literally just now. I mean, we and Gray. I don't know if you've heard from the old podcast, but we have a strong interest in startups, both being involved in multiple startups currently.
Actually, before we get there, let's just put it out there. We live in a flat, and two of us, we share the flat. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. We host people from all over the world. We have been having fun.
We've been having a lot of fun.
And recently, we received a phone call from our landlady that she's not happy with us hosting people, that we might have to move out of the flat.
We live too much like rockstars.
Yeah. Yesterday wasn't a really good day.
No, it wasn't.
With that.
But hey, it's Thursday, Friday tomorrow, and the sun is shining, and Cape Town's still beautiful.
So we love Couchsurfing, and we're not gonna lay to this kind of shit.
For real, we do love Couchsurfing. It's become part of our lifestyle. If I'm going to be honest.
So true. Yeah.
I think it's become part of our lifestyle, and I think anyone out there who's travelling should definitely have a look at Couchsurfing. We've hosted some dope people from all over the world. We've had South Koreans, we've had Canadians, we've had Mexicans, we've had French people here. And it's dope to see all these different cultures and then watch them. I mean, neither of us are local. Gray's from Laos, I'm obviously from London. So it's nice to see how our cultures clash,
Yeah.
and then to watch those cultures clash with Cape Town as well.
Yeah, you know.
Awesome.
And like
experience.
somebody just want to stop that because she doesn't understand it. She said, you know, this whole thing of letting people sleep on your couch is really crazy. I'm like, you didn't even ask exactly what it is to understand. And then
Exactly.
she sent
But
me...
I will be honest, when I first explain it to people, they're very apprehensive about it. And a
True.
lot of people are like, do they pay you? What do they do for you? Do they cook for you? Do they clean for you?
The answer is no, they don't have to.
They don't, I mean, we don't expect them to.
Yeah.
I won't lie to you and say that people haven't, because of course they have. But
Yeah.
it's not it's not expected of them, but at
Yeah.
all. And B, if it happens, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
But it's all about. Okay, I this is going to be a tangent on the podcast, but I was recently thinking about when we as people do things for other people. And it's normal. I feel it's normal to feel like people should reciprocate your actions. But I was thinking in my head, you know what the real definition of kindness is? I feel like the real definition of kindness is doing a kind act for someone who can't reciprocate it.
Yeah.
That is the real act of kindness.
Without expecting
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, when you grow up, I'm hardly old. I'm 23, but I feel like when you grow up and start getting older and start seeing the world more, you start to realise more. And I feel like that a real definition of kindness is performing an act for someone who cannot reciprocate that act ever.
So true, right?
For example,
and that's what couchsurfing is.
That's
right?
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But if you were to couchsurf, I feel you'd want the same experiences that we've had.
Yeah, exactly.
Or we've given. I hope we've given.
And also, just to put it out there, it's like couchsurfers specifically. These people don't actually hang out, live this kind of lifestyle because they're trying to save money all the time. Usually, 90% of the time, it's just like it's really good to meet with the people and live like you're at home in a new town, in a new city, and it's like being part of the community rather than being boxed in a hotel where you're just looking at the wall and the TV screen when you're in a new country.
100%.
You know, it changed completely my mind how I look at traveling and going to new places. Right now, I don't feel.
I think it's changed my outlook on. Sorry to interrupt, but I think it's changed my outlook on meeting new people as well. Like, it's not just meeting someone, but they're going to be sleeping on your couch.
Yeah.
And to this day, touch wood. Since I've been here, Gray, I've been living with you for about 6 months, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah.
Maybe
maybe a
little bit more actually.
Yeah.
No, man, I landed here end of February. It took me about 2 weeks to find a place.
I think April, May.
Mate, yeah. It's been about 6 months maybe then, give or take. Anyway, regardless of that, we've hosted. I reckon we've hosted about 15 people since I've been here.
A little more than that.
Never had a bad experience. I mean, honestly, I know it sounds like rubbish, but we have never. I have never had a bad experience.
Yeah.
With any of them. I've never not got on with any of them.
I mean, you know what more likely to happen when I explain to people about couchsurfing? They're like, oh, why would you trust these people? They would steal from you or something like that. But like, out of all these people we've had, none of that happened. No,
and it's just a couple of them have stolen hearts. But
stolen what?
Stolen hearts, man. But
yeah, he means hearts, but that's a whole different story.
I think it's the kind of psyche you have to want to be a couch surfer means that the kind of people that we host are not the kind of people that would A, steal from us, or B, be untrustworthy.
Yeah, it's also like I think it's a community of people with the same kind of thinking, like-minded people, basically. So
definitely,
we're all in this for the same reason. We like meeting new people,
it's the experience,
and being
100%.
connected.
And I know now, if I go to a number of places globally, that there's people that
already.
I know will look after me.
Yeah.
I know I can stay where they stay, which is dope.
Correct. Let's kick it. And speaking of being 23 years old in Cape Town, are you winning, Kannan?
I'd like to think, if I look at my peers, I mean, I don't like to compare myself with other people, but I like to think I'm doing all right. I like to think, okay, that's a lie. I like to think I'm winning. I like to think I'm winning, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I do like to think I'm winning.
Right. How do you win in your 20s?
If I had to give a word, the way I'd look at that question is, what advice would you give to 18-year-old Kannan or 19-year-old before they turn 20? What advice would I give to
16, 15, anything like that?
Do what you think is right.
Right.
And it is literally as simple as that, and that is from relationships to work to food to whatever.
Yeah.
Life is about experience. It's about trial and error. To do right, you must first do wrong.
Yeah.
So if someone teaches you to do right first, you don't know that's like you don't know you don't like something. You don't know it's not right for you
So true,
until you do it. Life's about experience. You don't want to be 30 years old, married, having some young kids on the way, and not have experienced everything that you want to experience, because that's how people resent relationships and resent growing old. Like, I feel like I'm 23 and I've had so many experiences that already that I count myself very blessed and very lucky. So I think that it's trial and error, but be brave, trust yourself. That's the three things I'd say: is be brave, trust your own decisions, and make mistakes. Because if you don't make mistakes, you're never going to do right. You don't know it's a mistake unless you make it. Yeah. And that's in all aspects of life.
That's true, eh?
That's how I think.
I would add a little bit to that, saying, if you're young, whatever you are, like 15, whatsoever, whatever that is, from my life experience, I think it's important to not...
You sound like you're from London. Important.
Fuck yeah. I think it's really important to not let anyone make your decisions. Like, own your decisions, bro. It's just like,
I couldn't agree with you more. Own your decisions. Own and that's the big thing. It's not just make the decision and make it and say I'm done with that decision.
Yeah.
Make the decision and own what you've done.
Yeah.
It might be wrong, but you will learn from that. Everything. There's a MMA coach, and he says that everything. If you lose, it's a lesson.
Yeah.
If you win, it's a blessing. So if you're losing, that's it. Sorry, he says that, but he also says if you're losing, you're learning.
Yeah.
So
of course.
Every loss is a is a lesson. Sorry, every loss is a lesson. That's in life as well. Everything that doesn't go your way, can be a lesson. It just depends on the mentality you have for it.
I think depending on what you want to do, you have to learn. I think learning yourself exactly what you like, what you don't like, it's really important. Like,
people don't do that until they're
it's
old,
like,
man.
Yeah, I don't think most people actually evaluate that and think about
100%.
that. It's like you need to know exactly what kind of person you are, things you like, what type of music you like, what type of people you like to hang out with. It's like, honestly, because it feels like, for the most part, life feels like it has been designed already. It's already there. You can just go and swim and go out.
One of my biggest pet peeves, and I apologise to our listeners if this is you, but when I have a conversation with someone and I say, "What do you like to do?" "Oh, I'll do anything." What music do you listen to?" "Oh, I listen to anything." Honestly, that frustrates me, because I feel like you haven't experienced enough to say what you do or do.
Exactly,
like to
that's
do.
true.
And there's not. I know that's ridiculous, because you could listen. I could speak to a 35-year-old man.
Yeah.
And be like, what do you like to do? Not what do you do with your weekends? I drink, I do this. But what do you enjoy? What do you really? What brings you joy?
Exactly.
What do you like to listen to? What brings you joy when you listen to it? And I feel like you only get to that stage through experience. And I can't remember what brought me onto that tangent, but I feel that's an important part of life.
Because it's little things like those that are like defines that you actually go out of the way and find your own things.
100%.
Because there are things that are just there, like movies that play on the TV all the time, music, and the way people live, they dress. It's like, if you just copy and paste, it's just because it's presented right in your face.
It's a waste of humanity.
You know?
You
actually have to go out and find yourself. And what happens when you do that, I think, is that you end up developing your own way of thinking. And for you to win, usually you mostly have to do the opposite of what everyone is doing, or just to say the difference. Because if anybody's doing the same thing, there's always competition, and I'm not a believer in competition.
100%.
And disruption. I think
you're not a believer in disruption.
No, I'm not.
See, this is where we're going to come to a tangent, because I'm a big believer in disruption, because I think disruption is what pushes the human race forward.
That's true.
I think.
Yeah, but on the same point, I would argue that okay, I mean, maybe it depends which kind of disruption. If we're talking
We're
about
talking
startups,
we're talking about tech start. Listen, it's me and you. We're always talking about startups. Disruption's key, bro.
I used to like disruption a lot. I used to think that I like it, but once I read a book by Peter Thiel, it's called 0 to 1. It's all about coming up with original ideas, like becoming big, like Google or the new thing Uber, whatsoever, right?
But Uber's not new. Uber's disruption.
It's disruption. Yeah, I understand that. But to come up with that kind of thing, if you want to take over an industry, you don't need competition. And if you are disruptive, it means there is competition. So I believe that you must just come fresh.
I don't think so.
Original. If you come with an original idea,
okay,
you don't have competition.
Last 5 years, what startup would you want to be part of? If you could have headed any startup in the last 5 years, what would it have been?
Good question.
What would it have been? Because I can tell you mine off the top of my head right now. I would have wanted to be part of Airbnb or Uber or Alibaba or Snapchat. And all four of those are disruptive apps. Apart from Alibaba's
last 5 years
online. Of the last 5 years,
for me, it's tough, to say in the last 5 years. I would say Snapchat because it made tons of money.
Obviously made tons of. But couldn't you WhatsApp someone a picture before?
I could.
There you go. So why that's disruptive?
But there is still a split between these apps, though. It's just like
but
we have
Airbnb's disruptive. Is that hotels have existed for millennia.
Yeah. But there is still a split between how many use Airbnb and hotel. It's a shared market, right? Airbnb does not have 100% of the market, or 90%, even probably 25%.
All you need is 15, because if you got what's Airbnb's overheads really?
Google has
Server?
65% of the search engine business,
and
the rest share everything.
But what is Airbnb? What's their overheads really?
Maintenance
and service. Hey, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, when you get to
marketing,
when you get to the point where Airbnb are, you're spending a lot of money on because if your servers go down, then you don't make any money.
Yeah.
But I think disruptive apps in the last 5 years, the biggest apps and the biggest moves forward have been. Look at Spotify. Spotify is humongous. You could play music before. You could stream music before.
Yeah.
They've just put it all in one place. I think disruptive apps is what's the trend is at the minute. Personally, I think
it's trendy to be honest.
I not so much, but I think there's a reason for it to be trending. But I think firstly, as millennials, as young people, we love shiny and new. We love shiny and new, and disruptive apps just make old things shiny and new.
Yeah.
Uber, it's a taxi. Who hasn't taken a taxi as a child? But now you can get a taxi off of your phone, and you can pay through microtransactions via your debit card. You don't have to carry any cash on you.
Sure, I love Uber.
And there you go, shiny and new. Everyone use it.
Yeah.
Who didn't use cabs before? That's my point of view.
And there is always a threat to kick your ass if you're in that position, right?
Of course.
Yeah, but disruption, it's a good thing, and sometimes it's not, especially at a low scale, like I am, and most people are. It's like, if you really want to disrupt something really big, you must have the balls.
You have to come in big. I agree.
Yeah. So if you at a small scale, like an individual, a company or organization, whatever, coming up with something new, it's easier to brute force or bootstrap without needing venture capital.
I know this is a cop out as an argument, but I feel startups as a thing is saturated, man. There's so much stuff going on, but what is new that hasn't been done?
Exactly.
VR is the only one in the last 2 or 3 years that I would have wanted to get involved in, because that's brand spanking new. VR is going to be massive.
Yeah.
One of my friends back home has made like a startup which is essentially a VR amusement arcade, a VR theme park. So it's a big warehouse. They sell VR tech there, and you can go in and pay like £10 and just pay for VR games all day.
Yeah, awesome. And for the people listening there, especially in their 20s like us, VR is a new thing. Nobody's an expert yet in it. You can actually get in there today, do your thing, and you might be the next unicorn.
The next unicorn.
Yeah.
Early Backman.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Silicon Valley.
HBO, watch it. It is hilarious.
It's I think everybody in their 20s, or if you're 16, whatever, then you need to watch that series, right? there's a lot of cool stuff that I never see, like Game of Thrones and all that. I've never seen it. It's really cool. But I think anybody in the teenagers and in their 20s, what I would recommend they need to see Silicon Valley, and they need to see...
I couldn't agree more.
And they need to see Shark Tank as well. It's
I
really helpful.
I haven't watched Shark Tank, I've watched the British version, which is Dragon's Den.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. Yeah, it's really cool. It just Dragon's Den is from the UK, obviously, and Shark Tank is from the States.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you struggle with at the moment, Kannan? Being in your 20s, what are the?
I can tell you exactly what I struggle with. A lot of the people, the icons of industry, I'd call them, but a lot of the startup and entrepreneur guys that I adhere to their viewpoints, and I'd like to emulate their careers, like Richard Branson, Warren Buffett. A lot of their thought process is win the year. If you can't win the year, win the month. If you can't win the month, win the week. If you can't win the week, win the day. If you can't win the day, win the hour. Some days I can't be fucked. Excuse my language. I can't be bothered to win the hour, and because as much as I enjoy being successful and I want to enjoy the fruits of my labour in terms of cash and enjoying myself and spending money, I still get distracted super easily, bro. Have to turn my phone off. That's probably one of the young things that I still have left. One of the last things to get rid of is my work ethic is good if I'm on point. Like, you've seen me, I can work until like 10 o'clock. Yeah. That's not a problem. But some days, and I know it happens to all of us, and I'm trying to iron that out with my psyche, of being like, today's a write-off. But I like that thought process, and I'm trying to adhere to that more. That's win it in processes.
A freaking really good point, dude. It's like for a lot of people at our age,
being distracted is so easy.
Being distracted is so easy because of these things that we sign up.
Literally fingertips away. Like, how hard is it to lean over to your phone, open it, and press the Facebook app, and bang, you lose 25 minutes.
You see a bunch of text messages on top of your screen coming on and stuff like that. You start reading. Somebody send you a video of their cat or whatever.
Freaking always cat videos, eh?
Or you go on
always
Facebook.
Cat videos.
Just on that same point, Steve today sent us a video.
I was at work and I was working. Hilarious. We'll put the link to the video. But,
I haven't seen it. What was it?
It's just when your paycheck comes in $10 over, and it's a puppy. Like a real life puppy standing upright with like a dressing gown on and shades, and someone's throwing money about it. So it looks like a rap video. It's hilarious. But we get distracted. We as a generation probably get distracted easier than.
And it's really hard. It's like, I think just to be able to distract yourself, to remove yourself from that bubble of distraction, it's being successful.
I completely agree, and it's all about. We're in a generation of immediate gratification, is what I call it. Not what I call it, it's what it's called, immediate gratification. And we want things now. Yeah. Always want things now because everything's at our fingertips, eh? Now, being successful is about delayed gratification. It's do you want to win tomorrow, but only win tomorrow? Yeah. Do you want to win in 5 years, but win for the rest of your life? That's actually that's the mindset that I'm trying to get
but
into
it's
as well.
easy. But then it's easier for most people to fall for the trap of the now. It's really easy. I mean, human beings, that's what we do. We choose 100%. The easiest route all the time, 100%. Right?
It's about education, man. And you have to educate yourself and change your own mental psyche to be like, I want to win in 5 years, but I want to win forever. Yeah. Because like we say, win the day, win the hour. When we say win, when it's like win the day, it's be successful for that day. Yeah. Beat your opposition for that day. Yeah. When we say like, do I want to win? Like, do you want to spend money on a Friday night and have a wicked Friday night, but not be able to work on Saturday and Sunday? Mm-hmm. Or do you want to be able to work Saturday, Sunday, not go out that Friday night, and be successful in 5 years, and have Friday nights for Monday to Friday, have Friday nights every day, Fridays every day of your life? Yeah. So that's probably the two things I struggle with about in my 20s. Is what I'm trying to eradicate is A, being distracted easily at work, and B is definitely trying to get delayed gratification as part of my psyche. Yeah. Oh, that's. What about yourself? You're the same as me. Some days you wake up and you're like, not today.
Yeah, man.
Yours is less. Yours is more rare for me than you.
Yeah.
I will admit that I'm more likely to say that than you are.
Yeah.
But you've had days.
I mean, I kick
that.
ass, but the challenge to me is just, and I'm reading a book about it. It's like I've been reading military books. It's really good. You must check them out. What I've learned so far is that motivation is shit, because I'm think of myself as highly motivated. I'm always wake up in the morning, get good coffee, then I'm kick ass the whole day. But it's not reliable to be motivated, because you can be crushed by such a small thing like hunger. If you're hungry, you're not going to do shit, right? You might just feel like, oh, today is terrible, or because of what happened yesterday, or you didn't like some text that somebody sent to you. So right now, I'm working on discipline instead of motivation. Just like, this is what I have to do, regardless. Not saying because I feel like I have to do this, that's motivation, right? But to do things because you actually have set a plan, and this is what I'm going to do over the weekend. I want to write code, or I want to do some marketing, or do this and that. And then if a distraction comes, it's easier to say, no, you guys want to go play football, or you want to go out? I'm not keen, I have shit to do. That's what I'm trying to get into, but it's really hard.
I think if you were to look at highly successful people, discipline is probably something that's throughout.
They all have routines that they do.
99% of them will be disciplined.
Yeah.
I see. Now I'm unlike you. I have like a very. I'm disciplined in the fact that I will do what I have to do, but I'll do it in my time, and I don't really. I don't know if it's because I don't know what it is, but I don't really have like a set routine. You've seen, I don't really have like a set routine.
Yeah.
I will go to the gym in the day. I'll go to work in the day. The times that I do those two things, I have no idea.
Yeah, true.
But they'll be done. But I don't know when they'll be done.
One thing that taught me a lot of discipline has been the podcast, because I have to put it out
Thursday.
Exactly. And that I can't fuck up.
Like clockwork, yeah.
I mean, I'm good with timing, but I'm a little bit off sometimes with all these things.
I'm good with timing as well.
Yeah, but it's like right now.
You said, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, but you're not good with timing.
I'm awful with timing, bro.
So a lot of people on the age, I'm 22, you're 23. One of the common stresses out there at this age is money.
Yeah, of course.
Most young people
are
stressed about money.
I think it's a stress.
It's like a pandemic almost. It's just like it's normal for young people to be broke. It seems to be normal, but it's not.
It's not normal, no.
But like I think the culture that is surrounding that age, or the things that people expect you to do on that age, are the ones that equal to being broke all the time.
The problem is that we have a generation of people that feel like, and this is global. I'm from London. You're from Africa. We always discuss the differences in terms of Europe and Africa. Even in Europe, we have a generation, the generation that I'm part of, who feel like they should be given things and not go out and get it.
So true.
And if you're given things, you'll be poor when you're young because you're given an entry level job.
Yeah.
When I say given, I mean essentially you come out of university, you apply, and they give you the job.
The job, yeah.
And then that's not enough to pay off your student debts, and then you enter the cycle of where people want you to be.
Yeah.
Work until you can pay off your student debts. Work until you can save up to get a deposit for a house. Move in with your girlfriend, buy a house, get married.
And then you even get a car on contract.
Yeah, get a car on contract. Have 2 cars on the drive. Have some kids, and there is nothing wrong with that life. I promise you. I don't think there's anything wrong with that life.
Yeah.
Just not for me.
Exactly.
Personally.
True. I mean, if you're cool with that kind of life, that's totally cool. Everything is not for everyone. I mean, that kind of lifestyle myself is not for me as well. I mean, I like playing around, being rough with you. But I think this whole money issue, as far as South Africa right now, it's just like, I mean, it's global as well. Like, at this age, people expect you to, say you're 18, right? What do people expect you to do? Oh yeah, you just have to. You're either coming out of high school, you're in university,
get some education, or get a job.
Or get a job, and you're just playing around. You can stay at home, play video games, or go out every night.
22 is a straight age because, like you said, I think, and I've said it to my other friends, is when you get to 22 or 23. When I'm about to turn 24 in December, and 24 is like the age where, like, you've been an adult since 18, but like 24, like I'm an adult, like I need to get my shit together now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like putting numbers on as far as age and when somebody can do something. I mean, if somebody out there wants to do something, he's 15, she's 15, go for it.
I remember. I tell you what though. Let me ask you a question. When you were 16 and you thought of yourself at 22, where did you see yourself?
That's a good and tough question.
Because I didn't see myself in the middle of Africa.
I did see myself out of the country I was in, and that's for sure. But I saw myself probably in university or running a business. I think.
I had no idea.
Because did you say at 16?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at 16 I saw myself in the States working for a visual effects company, because that's when I got my first computer, my first personal computer, and I was practicing a lot, learning on my phone about how to do computer graphics at a hardcore level and all these things. So I was like super nerded out on that age. I was just out of high school. I finished my high school at 16.
16, I was sure I'd be playing professional rugby somewhere at 23.
Yeah.
It's funny how life does whatever, because like I never thought in a million years I'd be in the middle of Cape Town doing what I'm doing.
Look, the funny thing is,
the life that I'm living.
The funny thing is, you don't need a specific plan like this. When you say you have a goal or a plan, you don't need that specific thing to happen. But it's just like, it just keeps you going in the right direction. You know, 100%. It's like whatever happens, but at least you're aiming for the better. You know.
Yeah, and I think I'm better off, not better off in terms of finance but I'm. In terms of myself, I'm happy. I'm happy. Happier than I'm probably happier than I've ever been. I've never been unhappy, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
Content, but I hate the word content, because content means people settle.
Yeah.
And that is the worst thing a human can do.
Don't settle.
Don't settle. Never settle.
Don't settle. So let's get back to the startup stories.
Startup stories. We
were talking about Chris Zucker here.
Yes, because Chris Zucker, for the listeners, is a very successful VC, and the discussion we had literally the day before.
A VC is a venture capitalist for the people listening.
So basically they fund startups, and the conversation that we and Gray had before is that I'd like to think that if a good idea came to me, I'd be able to recognise it was a good idea. So, for example, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Uber. We always use Uber as an example. I feel like I'd like to think, I'm probably wrong, I'd like to think that if these companies came to me, I'd be able to be like, yes, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. But what is your startup hypothesis, Gray? What are you going to say?
What I would invest in.
Yeah.
What I would want to be part of in the last 5 years. Flipper, I don't know. I would say Snapchat. I don't like Snapchat, but I would have been part of it just because now I know that it's worth billions. That's the only reason. But I'm not pro. There's nothing special about it. The thing is, with the social media business, whatever, this market, it's really volatile at the moment. Mm-hmm. Facebook is trying to get control of everything. I don't know if you have noticed now. If you're on Facebook, right before, if you click on a YouTube link, it used to take you to YouTube and you watch the video there. Right now, if you read an article even, it's happening on Facebook. Mm-hmm. They don't want you to go out of there.
Genius.
That's genius for them, but it's killing the rest of the market. 100%. If you go on Google, you search for something, right? How to do ABC, how to fix an iPhone. It shows you the process of going through it from another website. You just index those texts and put it there, instead of you going to the actual site.
Yeah.
So everybody.
So like, I realised the other day, if you put like a question into Google, it will come up with the answer without you having to go off the homepage.
Exactly.
In the top, the
exactly.
First thing
but it's indexing that from another site.
Yeah.
And that site gets nothing. It doesn't even get a review.
Doesn't get a click.
You know.
Doesn't get a click.
So now even Twitter, it can't grow anymore. What do? Because Snapchat have taken over the mobile video space, and there's these other things coming in. There's Facebook still. Now they're thinking about selling it. You know,
phone calls on Facebook.
It was
That's
worth
nuts.
It was worth $36 billion. Twitter a few years ago. Now I think it's $16 billion. Something.
Still a billion.
Yeah, still a B, but like.
I mean, listen. If I was Twitter, I agree if you had to set up. Twitter is awesome,
and Twitter is about to be sold anyway. Just to say,
Twitter is dope. But where do you go? Where do you go?
I don't even know how to use Twitter.
If I'm Twitter, I don't know what I'd do. Facebook, I've killed. Do you know what's Facebook? I will got to take my hats off to Facebook. They are so good at broadening their horizons. This Facebook Live thing they've got at the minute is so good because they're getting, like, for example, I watched the Conor McGregor 205 press conference yesterday live on Facebook. Live on Facebook.
Awesome.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Honestly, genius. I can make phone calls on Facebook. I can make video chats on Facebook. Like I've got their A&R. Their new, I don't know what the word would be, but regardless, their new ventures section of their business is dope. Whoever's head of their marketing or head of that section, head of that team is so smart.
So true, because the apps like Twitter, I think it's just not for me. It feels like it's for people that are into popular culture a lot.
It's very good.
Celebrity
if you want to
culture.
follow, I start using Twitter again when it's the football transfer season because that's where I get my football transfer rumours from. But if you want to follow celebrity and things like that, Twitter's definitely the one for you.
So that's I think that's the only channel right now that they have to the celebrity market. So out of that, I cannot communicate with my friends on Twitter because I go there. All the feeds that I'm looking at, I don't even know where they're coming from. It's ridiculous.
I will say that another thing that Facebook do really well is they do, and Google do it similarly. For example, you see that Facebook. Have you seen the Facebook video live thing before? They wouldn't have developed that themselves. They would have found a company that's already got that technology and brought that technology.
They bought the company.
You just buy the company that does that technology. Google would have done it.
That's why
Facebook do it.
Peter Thiel says disruptors look for trouble and they find it.
Yeah.
And in the book, this talking about Facebook, right? If you're building something so cool, you look like a competition, they're just gonna buy you out quickly.
I mean, for me, that's the dream, man.
And
that's the freaking dream.
Yeah, but look, when you're building something, it's not all. I mean, there's two different ways of looking at it. The founder of the company, he likes the idea. He want to build it to be bigger, And the VC come in, or your family members, whatever, they put their money in. If I put my money in a company that I just think it's a good idea, it's gonna blow out and become a unicorn, I'm gonna put my money in. All I'm gonna care about is the money. I'm just gonna care about the money. But for the founder, it's a different story. There's a story about Mark Zuckerberg, right? When Facebook was about to be sold. I read this in Peter Thiel's book as well, 0 to 1 for people who want to check it out. There's a story about him. All the board members were there. They were about to be sold to Yahoo at I think $3 billion at early stage. And then these guys were like, okay, I think $3 billion is a very good amount of money, and we're just gonna sell it. And he just came into the meeting and was like, oh, guys, I think this is not a bomb at all. It's not a matter of discussion. We're definitely not gonna sell out. These guys were like, what? Because they didn't have a vision about what Facebook would become. He had it all in his head.
I understand that, but I don't know. It's difficult for me.
So you would say anything with a V,
I'd take it, man. I really would. I really, really would. Honestly, I'd take it. I understand you get attached to an idea once you see one of your ideas.
But also when somebody want to pay $1 billion or too much money.
It's a lot of money, bro. Like, my thought process is I would never have to work again.
For sure.
That's what I'd think. I'd never have to work again.
Yeah.
I'd never have to wake up. I'd never have to answer to anybody. Hats off to Big Mark. He's killing the game, bro. Yeah. Killing the game. Fair play to him.
55B worth right now.
55B, man. How many commas do you want in those numbers, bro? Hats off to Big Mark.
Tres commas.
No, I'd take the money and run.
But look, it's also there's a point. I don't know if you have been at a point where something so sudden happens to you. Valuation is a big thing. Like, if somebody just comes and say, oh, Kannan, I like your shoes, I'm going to pay 80,000 rand for them. You stop first. You're not just going to say yes. You'll be like, why the heck do you want to pay?
I don't think I would, man. I'd take the money. I'd take it and run.
I've been at a position like that before. Not to do with startups or companies like that, but just like somebody wanted to pay too much money for something that I owned. And just because...
Oh, I see what you mean. Because they've evaluated it so high, you're like,
yeah.
can I get more money for this?
Or it's just like, what's the value?
Yeah, what's the real value? Yeah. Okay, I'll give you this. But I'm always a proponent of values are relative because it's worth whatever someone will pay.
Yeah.
You look at a company that I'd use an example of that is Nest, right? Google paid stupid amount of money to invest in Nest, and now they can't sell Nest for love nor money. Nest has spent all the money Google put into them. They don't even monopolise. For everyone that's listening, Nest is an Internet of Things company that is based around running your home from your phone.
Yeah.
You can run baths, you can heat your house, you can turn lights on and off, all from your phone. Now Google brought it for Greg. Pull it up quickly. How much Nest was brought for by Google?
Nest acquisition.
Yeah,
Google.
man.
Yeah, you can keep talking while
essentially Google bought it for a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now they spent all the money, and they can't sell them. So valuation, it's not like the idea's changed in any way. It's still the same idea.
Yeah.
But the valuation's worth what someone will pay for them.
What do you think? Google has bought so many companies.
How much is it, man?
3.2 billion.
3.2 billion.
Yeah, in cash.
And they've done nothing.
$3.2 billion.
Honestly, they've done nothing. That is a black hole on Google's. And I mean, for Google, 3.2 billion is like chump change. But that's a black hole on Google's on Google's books now, man.
But look, I'll tell you what, Google has bought so many companies that they're screwed up.
If you're that, I mean, they're at a point now where if they buy 50 startups and 10 of them make it, the other 40 they're like, meh. At least they've got 10 good ones. But
I think my understanding and the way I think about startups and all these companies, your idea is you're just as good as your idea in the beginning. It's like if you started off as a search engine, Google will always pay too much attention to that. They might work so hard in the car industry trying to get the radar technology and self-driving cars and all that. There will be a leader in that. Might be Tesla, because they're like pushing that technology, and that's what they're doing full time, right? Google has this whole search engine business, and all these other side businesses, they're more likely to fail because they don't pay too much attention to them. Facebook just care about connecting people. That's what they do.
100%.
If they buy Oculus for the virtual reality, it just makes sense.
So I completely
360 video and all that stuff.
I completely agree with what you're saying about diversification.
Yeah.
But it depends who you look at, because you look at Facebook and you say everything they've done is to do with connecting people. Hats off. Then you look at someone like Amazon. Their diversification, they have killed it. They have killed their diversification. It is done so well. They start off as a book,
yeah.
Then they go into electronic goods and games. Now you can do anything on Amazon. They've got Amazon Prime, Amazon Music. Amazon are killing it.
Yeah,
and
Jeff Bezos get less credit than he deserves.
Yeah, 100%. I think people need to look at the diversification of Amazon over the last 20 years. And notice that those boys of 20 years is probably too much.
You know, I like their business strategy. They buy things at a higher price, at a price, at a standard price. They sell them for cheaper. They sell them for less.
Yeah.
But they have a few products and services that pays for the whole of their stocks and stuff.
100%.
It's ridiculous.
I've got a lot of time for Amazon. We've done really, really well.
I like also their audiobooks. The Amazon audiobooks is incredible. Audible. I mean, most people don't know.
Little stat. I don't know, but most people don't know. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. Yeah.
Didn't I say this to you the other day?
Yeah, you said last time.
And it completely rocked my world when I heard this. The biggest media in terms of things that make money. I've explained this so shit, great.
Yeah.
But essentially, books outsell every other kind of media globally.
Music whatsoever.
Music, movies, everything.
And
books outsells it. Nuts.
Yeah.
Crazy, bro.
And I understand because I pay $12 per month.
Yeah.
For books on Audible. Then I get $5 every
month.
You
just got to look at J.K. Rowling. The girl's balling. Books are still huge.
Yeah.
Fair play. I thought movies or music for sure, but I think firstly you can't pirate books.
Yeah. You can. I'm a big pirate of books. As
Are you really?
But just because I read digital books, I don't think I can have any book.
I think the closest I came was I found The Full Alchemist online. but having a book and owning a book with pages and stuff is very different to owning a CD.
Yeah, I mean, if I like the book, what happens to me is like I also buy the physical book. I read the book. If I like it, I go out there and buy the physical one just so that I have it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few books like that.
But
like
yeah, nuts, man. I couldn't believe it that books was the highest selling form of media.
Mm-hmm.
Is it media? Maybe.
Yeah, could be. So for the people listening who are in the 20s in university or whatsoever, what do they do, Kannan, to be the next unicorn? What would you say?
Back yourself. Find something you love and make money off of it.
Mm.
Okay, no, that's a lie. I'm sorry. People will say it to you. That is some. I don't want to say bullshit, but it's bullshit about find something you love and make money off of it. It depends on the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
I'm materialistic as fuck, and it's one of my downfalls, but it's also one of my greatest strengths because I know what I want. I know what I want, and I know what I want to get there.
Yeah.
So find something to make money off if that's what you want to do. If that's not what you want to do, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just do what makes you happy. Do you.
That's correct. Yeah.
And also don't care too much about the friends you have at like 19 and 20 because chances are they're not going to be the friends you have at 23. And as horrible as that sounds, it's the truth.
Right.
You may have a handful of friends, 2 or 3 friends that will stick with you from 23 to 25, from 20 to 23. But things are happening so quick when you're 20 years old, and things are changing so quick. You might have a completely different set of friends. So don't make permanent decisions on temporary feelings.
And on relationships, what are you going to say about people at our age? We're not, I mean, just to make it clear there, we're not experts about all these things. We're just like you. We're just sharing
this is
our...
my opinion, 100%. My opinion may be very wrong. Relationships. Oh, man, it's too unique to each situation, I think. I think it's too unique to each situation to give one big pan of advice to people in general on relationships. But
that if there's one thing I wouldn't give anybody advice on or point out something, it's relationships.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's so dynamic and hard.
It's each relationship, and you know it from the relationships you had with girls. Each relationship is so different.
So true.
So different.
Just make sure you're happy. I think you come first as a person. I believe. Be happy be happy being alone and lonely.
That's something that young people have to learn.
Most people have to learn.
Most people have to learn it. Most people have to learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
But you must be comfortable with your own company.
Exactly.
And I'm the kind of I love being around people because I like talking to people. But it's something I've learned, I suppose, since moving. When I moved out, I moved continent.
Yeah.
But I'm dope on my own, man. I'm chill on my own. Get me some Netflix and some popcorn.
Down. I'm
chill.
Cool. Yeah, man, that was it.
Happy days. I'm gonna eat me some food.
Yeah.
Guys, I will say one thing though. As much as we're enjoying the feedback and reviews and shares that you're giving us and the views, give us some themes or things you want to hear us discuss.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Give us some things you want to hear us discuss.
So true.
Cheers. We're Gray's Corner and we're out.